Hey everybody, welcome to Old Iron Garage. Thank you for tuning in. So this evening, I'm out here in the garage. I got a little project to work on the bench. I will be continuing working on the Bolens G10, the 1977 Bolens G10 that I revived last year. Well, let's just go ahead and point the camera down at the bench, and I'll show you what we're going to be working on. Here it is, the carburetor. Since I revived this thing, the carburetor has been problematic at times. Sometimes it runs okay, and then sometimes, though the last it was running, it was struggling for fuel, and then it died, and then I could not get it to restart, and that was when I took it to the Napa Power from the past steam and antique tractor show. And then the, oh shoot, I threw it away already. The starter gear, I was cranking and cranking, trying to restart it, messing with the carburetor and whatnot, and the starter gear stripped all its teeth. But you know, who knows how old that old nylon gear was, so it was probably past due to be replaced. I have since then worked on the starter and did some stuff to it, found a problem with it, fixed that, and replaced that gear. That starter is as good as new and ready to go. Now it's time to turn our attention to the carburetor. Let's just go ahead and start tearing it apart. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is take off the adapter for the air cleaner. It looks like it's on there at it's not on there quite straight, it's like crooked a little bit. That's something I would not have noticed looking at it from above when installing it, when I had it off and put it back on. One thing that I was missing for this tractor was the air cleaner cover. The air cleaner cover. That was always missing. Since then, I have come up with a solution for it. The air cleaner's open around it. It does have a foam pre-filter on it. I had replaced the air filter with a brand new aftermarket unit from Amazon. I just made took a smaller air cleaner cover from a Briggs & Stratton that I had that was extra, and I cut off the part that goes around. It has just the top, and that clamps it down and seals it off from the top. But I am going to be looking out for the actual air cleaner cover. Well, come on now. There we go. She popped loose. What is going on here? Why was that crooked? I'll try to put it back on and see what happens. I get it to go on straight. There, it's on straight now. That's strange. Huh. Well, okay. It's probably good that I noticed that, because I'm sure I had an air leak there, which wouldn't cause it to run funny, because it is before the throttle, the butterfly valve throttle plate, but it would allow dirty air to get in. So it's probably good that I noticed that. Another thing, doesn't seem like a real airtight fitting or fitment there anyways. I wonder if I can do anything to improve that. It's not too bad actually, but I may actually smear a little just a thin film of RTV on there when putting it back together. Probably actually on the inside of the here, so it doesn't squish out here and it's not visible. But we will worry about that later. This is going to get set aside. Next, I'm going to take off the 90-degree intake manifold. Gonna need an extension. I do have what is supposed to be the correct carburetor rebuild kit, and man, those were not very tight. I'm trying to remember if I had any of this apart. I don't think I did. I can't remember anything. I don't believe I had anything in between here, where it bolts to the engine, and here, where the air cleaner adapter goes on, off of it. I think everything between here all the way up to here, I have probably not had a part yet, but I cannot remember. Go back in my videos from this thing from last year and watch and let me know. Ding! I need more of these Harbor Freight magnet trays. They're nothing fancy, they're just a basic magnet tray, but I'm always needing more of them. I never have enough of them. That gasket came right off. Nice. But though I'm not going to be reusing it, I will be saving this. I always save good gaskets. I have a little cigar box I throw them in, because there have been times where I was in a pinch and I needed a gasket and I needed it now. And I did not have said gasket. And I didn't feel like making one. So there's been many times where I looked through that box of used gaskets that are still good, and I found what I was looking for in that box. Let's test this for, see if it's warped. Only very slightly. I may, put that on some like 120 grit and resurface it. Same thing there. That one appears to be good on the carburetor side. So that might get a very light resurfacing. All right. So now we're down to just the carburetor. There's one thing that I've seen, one mistake I've seen many people make that are not familiar with these updraft carburetors. And that mistake is there's like a, what is it called, a emulsion tube or something, or a jet that goes, it's underneath here, underneath this adjustment screw, and goes up into the up and through the throat of the carburetor here. It goes all the way through the bottom part of the carburetor, like the bowl and whatnot, and up through the top half of this updraft carburetor. And there's been many times where people have not taken that out, that tube out first, and they tried to force this apart. Because it's going at a 45-degree angle, you're not going to get this apart without either first taking that out or without breaking that tube. And it is very easy to break. About halfway up through, there's a couple little holes where the fuel sprays out. So that's a weak point, and that'll break really easy, especially since that tube is a soft yellow metal. Always take that out first. Do not try to force it to come apart. I'm actually going to get you guys down here and show you. One moment. Alright, so here's the carburetor. You take out this screw, and you take out that nut that the screw threads into. It's not just a nut, it's kind of like a bolt, but it's hollow. This goes into it. And then up in here is where the bottom of that tube is. Okay? And it goes up through the bottom half, up into the top half. And we're going to take a look at that right now. You see it down there, that yellow tube? If you look real closely, you can see the hole where the fuel sprays out. There, you can see a little more clearly. They always break right there if you don't take it out first. So please, please, please take that out first. Alright, let's as soon as I can steady this camera. There we go. Let's dive in. Let's see, where is this at? I want to see how far out this is. 1, 2, probably somewhere around 1.5 turns. 3, oh, 4. These are half turns I'm counting, okay? So 1/2, 1 turn, 1.5, 2 turns, almost 2.5. I was wrong. Now, I may have had it turn further out than what it should be because it wasn't running right. This carburetor was not working properly. This carburetor needs to be cleaned and rebuilt. Come on out of there. There you go. There's a brass or bronze washer, and then a rubber, like what is it, neoprene washer? Is that the rubber that's fuel resistant? Comment if you know. There's that little nut that I told you. It's not really a nut. It's more like a bolt. But there's a hole that passes clean through it. And down in here, there is that, what is it? It's actually like a high-speed jet, basically. I think. Let's see. You're going to need a narrow screwdriver with flat sides. So these ones are flat on the sides. This is not going to fit. I really need to like take one of these and grind it down to fit. Because if it's too narrow, you're likely to ruin it. It is a soft metal, yellow metal. So I'm only going to put so much pressure on this trying to turn it before I end up grabbing another screwdriver. So let's see if it goes. Oh, it went so easily. It's better to leave it in and soak this thing in something ultrasonic, run it through an ultrasonic cleaner with that in, than to ruin it trying to force it to come out. That was like butter. Nice and easy. That maybe it came out easy because I was running some fuel system cleaners in this. It may have helped to clean some stuff up, which that may have helped to make it come out a little easier. It's hard to say. There it is. That is what a lot of people end up breaking. There's 4 little holes there. I'm going to put the holes against that bench vise in the background so you can see them. 1, 2, 3, 4 little holes. And it is very weak in that spot. So, and that tube is not very thick either. The tube is clear. That's not the problem. So, anyways, we're going to move on. Now we can take the top half of this updraft carburetor off. I see people online sometimes trash talking, not everybody, but I guess I've seen a few trash talking updraft carburetors because they didn't have good luck with them. I'm sure they probably have their pros and cons, but I mean, I've never had a problem with them. I've serviced a lot of updraft carbs on a lot of antique equipment over the years, and they've always worked fine for me. But I guess no matter what style of carburetor you have, if it's an antique, there's a good chance you may end up having some serious problems with it. It might be time to just find another. But yeah, anyways, I know certain updraft carbs, like there's a Zenith Bendix. Is it? I can't remember the model number. It's what was on the Bolens Husky 800. The Wisconsin S7D engine. Those are known for, between the top and bottom half of the carburetor, where the bowl is, the bowl gasket, they can warp there. And once they do, it's kind of standard procedure. You just find another carburetor. But I had that issue on my very first Bolens garden tractor, which was an 800. I didn't give up on that. I sanded and lightly, just taking it off in just the right spots to close that gap up some. And oh wow, that one's not even tight at all. Maybe finger tight. And then I used a I put in a new gasket and used a fuel rated sealer to seal it up the rest of the way, and that did the trick. I was able to save that carburetor by doing that, and I was able to continue using that carburetor rather than have to find another one. I wouldn't say those carbs are like super rare or anything. You can find them on eBay. They pop up from time to time, but they're not as common as some carburetors are. Here we go. There it is, nice big old float, which I'll be checking for pinholes in a little bit. I pray that this thing does not have a pinhole in it and have fuel in it, because I've had to repair one float not too long ago. It was the first time I ever repaired a float. I had to solder the hole, and it was not fun. I did not enjoy it. It was a good learning experience, but it was not fun. Anyways, so here's the inside of the bowl. Hang on. Let's see if I can help you guys to see a little better. Not terrible by any means. It's just a little crud. Looks a little crusty. It's just enough crustiness that, you know, a little piece of something could have broken off and got into a hole somewhere. Caused a problem. What the heck is that? There's this plug here, and there's like a hole in the center of it. And I can see light through there. So it's sucking dirty air right there. I don't like that. Show you where it is, right here. If you look, there's a tiny little hole in the center of it. I feel like there's supposed to be something there. I might have to dig around online and see if I can find out. If you know what's supposed to be there, maybe that's supposed to be open as like a little drain in case it gets water in it. That would be my guess. Drop a comment, let me know if you know, and if there's supposed to be some kind of little filter that just sits in there, something to filter to keep dirt from getting sucked in, please let me know. That'd be nice to know. So this is going to get set aside for now. I'm going to turn my attention to this top half. So first things first, I'm going to get this little pin out to get the float out. I'll look at the the needle and seat in just a moment. I don't hear anything. The float looks to be in excellent shape. Did I go through this carburetor? Did I have it off and clean it? If I did, it was like an economy clean. It was a quick clean. I can't remember now. Maybe I did have this off, but I see a few signs that tell me that I didn't, like hardware not very tight. So, but maybe I did and I just was in a hurry and forgot to tighten stuff. I don't know. I don't see any signs of any holes anywhere on this. So this float seems to be good. Let's take a look at the needle. The needle is rubber tipped and it does show signs of wear. So the needle could use replacing. The seat looks good, but it could use a little polishing up. A little bit of a fine grit valve lapping compound on a Q-tip. Just go in there and clean her up. Would do nicely for that. I can't take credit for that. I watch this YouTube channel called Mustie1. It's all together, no space. M-U-S-T-I-E, then the number 1. He fixes about anything and everything. A lot of stuff with engines. A lot of small engine stuff. He flips stuff, you know, but he does some cars and whatnot too. He's got a fascination. He seems to have a fascination with old Volkswagens. So, and I got that idea from his channel. If you haven't checked out his channel, go check it out. I really enjoy watching. It's pretty great. This gasket seems to be in excellent shape, though we will not be reusing it as long as our replacement gasket is correct. And just to make sure there's no anything hiding in here inside that fuel nipple and 90-degree elbow on into the carburetor, I'm going to take that out. And have that off when I clean. I used to use an ultrasonic cleaner, but unfortunately the one I had crapped out on me a few years back, and have not replaced it yet, but I am planning to. I'm looking at the Vivor brand ones on Amazon. I'd like to get a nice big one. That passage is clear. I really don't see anything wrong. Like, visually, I don't see anything wrong with this carburetor. I'm hoping that just a cleaning and some new parts in it, make sure everything's sealed up good, there's no vacuum leaks or anything, will do wonders for this and magically fix whatever the issue is. Well, there's one thing I didn't do that I wanted to do. Give me that. Wanted to test the needle and seat. That float pin could use replacing. It's a little rusty and it has a very slight bend to it. I do not like that. I hope there's a new one in the kit. Seems to be a pretty thorough kit, so there might be. I could try to give it a little love tap with a hammer and chuck it up in a screw gun and sand it, and then flip it around and sand it again, polish her up. But I'll do that if I have to, but if I have a replacement, I'm going to use it. Okay, so when the needle and seat are in there and assembled, and you're holding the carburetor upside down, so the needle's closed, you should not be able to pass any air through there, and you shouldn't have to push down on the float to achieve a full seal. It should just the weight of the float should be enough. And nope, nothing passing through. But when you open it, push that up, you should be able to pass air through. And that needle and seat is functioning as it should, though the needle will get replaced. Because it is showing signs of wear on the rubber tip. I am going to leave this assembly together. There's no need to take that off. Though, the only thing I find wrong here, there doesn't seem to be, the holes do not seem to be worn out that the pin goes through. Only just the tiniest, barely measurable amount of wear. So, not really a big vacuum leak there. It'd be a really tiny one and not enough to worry about really. So that is good. But yeah, anywho's, I'm gonna clean these up, and then they're gonna go. I got my they're gonna go in here. I got my gallon can of Berryman Chem Dip carburetor parts cleaner. It says on there to be careful with aluminum parts, that will eat aluminum, and if you leave it in for like a month, maybe it'll start eating it. But I've left these in up to 24 hours. You know, aluminum carburetors up to 24 hours. Nope, does not eat it. The only thing it does, it'll strip the paint off, that's for sure, and it'll clean up every single port and passage. This stuff does an excellent job. But what it will do is it'll strip the metal down to where it looks like a brand new, fresh cast piece of metal, which is nice. I like that. Makes it look brand spanking new. But, and my dad has left them in this stuff for up to like a week at a time, and it doesn't eat them up. So, I'm not even honestly sure why it says that, but yeah. But just be warned, if you use this, it does say that it will eat aluminum. So, but I think one thing I was going to tell you is this on the end. You can see it has some plays. That's not the shaft itself, it's just this piece on the end. So I'm going to try to address that, because that's flopping around a little bit. Might put something in there to make that stop. But anyway, yeah, I'm just going to clean these up off camera a little bit and blow them off with compressed air to get all the dirt off the outside, so I'm not putting excessive dirt in my gallon of Berryman Chem Dip, because this is usable over and over and over again for a long time. So this is great stuff, well worth buying a gallon of it, and I don't want to contaminate it with any more dirt than I have to. So anyway, I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to get to work cleaning these parts, and I'll bring you back later on. Alright guys, I'm in the middle of like pre-cleaning parts. You know, I'm cleaning up the parts and pieces and kerosene. I've got these two done, got this one cleaned, but I'm also going ahead, and before they go in the Berryman Chem Dip, all gasket surfaces are getting sanded, so I know that they are perfectly flat. I picked a spot on the bench that is perfectly flat, it is without, you know, dents and stuff. And I actually ended up going with 80 grit to take it down faster. And this will clean up the gasket surface, and it will basically kind of resurface it. Or it's has basically kind of the same effect as, like, you know, milling it, but it's not really milling. We're not using a milling machine. But anyways, it's kind of the cheap home version of resurfacing. As you can see, this one here I've already done. There's a few little dark areas yet, but there's enough clean, fresh surface all the way around without breaking it that will seal up very nicely. So, yeah, so I just want to show you how I'm doing this. Take your lubricant of choice. I'm just using some penetrating oil. WD-40 will work fine, motor oil, whatever you got, anything really. I like something a little bit thinner, like penetrating fluid or WD-40. And you just put it on there, make sure you hold it flat, and you just push down, and you just go to town. I usually finish it with circular motion, but to take it down, I usually go back and forth like this. And you can see fine little aluminum pieces coming off on the sandpaper. You'll see it. You'll see it shimmering, so you know it's working. I'm going to do this one completely start to finish on camera. So if you've not seen me do this before, or you've not seen anyone do it before, you've never done it before, this will give you like a little tutorial on how to do it. Rinse it off, take a look. Looks pretty good. I'm just gonna finish it off with the circular motion. Kind of scrub it with my finger and then rinse. And there we go. That's about as good as it gets, guys. That came out very nicely. Now I have a fresh, perfectly flat gasket surface. So anyways, I'm going to clean my hands and stop the camera, and again, I will bring you back when I have something to show. Hey guys, I'm back. So there's one other thing I want to show you. I already showed you how to not only clean up really well, but also ensure that a gasket surface is perfectly flat for a good seal. But so normally it's not easy to do on an updraft car, but on this bottom half we can still do that. So pick a nice spot on the bench where it's perfectly flat, no imperfections at all. Right here. And I've already got the penetrating oil on there. And by flipping this upside down and putting the area that I want to sand in, on this particular one, nothing sticks up extra high. It's all the same level. So, and there's nothing that sticks up past here, preventing me from going like this on the sandpaper. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I've already started doing it, and now I'm just going to continue, and I'll show you when I'm done. Whoa! Holy cow! I had a June bug, big old June bug, fly up from under the bench right up at my face. I didn't take time to figure out what it was. I just didn't want it in my face. That was not cool. Now we're going to switch to some more circular motion. I was mainly going back and forth. Now we're going to switch to some circular motion because I like to do that to kind of finish it off. It's just personal preference, really. Looks pretty good. There it is. Nice, clean, fresh gasket surface. Yeah. And I did take some steel wool and I folded it around the end of this handle. I went down in here and I scrubbed inside the bowl because I can get my finger down in there, but with steel wool around my finger, I can't get it down in there and go around. So I got that fairly clean, but the majority of the work is going to be done by that Bolens Chem dip right there. I did take some steel wool around here. I forgot I've got to take it around the inside of the air filter adapter piece where it goes around here and clean it up real good. But yeah, alright, I just wanted to show you guys that. And I'll bring you guys back when I have something else to show. Hey, one last update real quick before these parts probably end up going into, I think they're about ready to go into the Bolens Chem dip here. Guess you can't even see it anymore. Yeah, right here. I did end up taking out that big old plug in the back. That big old, what's it called, a Welch plug, basically, is what it's like. Because looking down in there with the light, like at the bottom, it was kind of dirty. And I wanted to be able to get in there with a brush and scrub it clean. So that's what I did. Yeah, I just kind of worked around the choke butterfly valve. I didn't take it out. Not going to take it out. But yeah, I just kind of worked around it. And going to give this one more rinse. And then blow them off with compressed air. Hit them with some brake cleaner to get the kerosene off. And then they go in there. I'm wondering if these are all going to... These should all fit in there at the same time. This doesn't need to go in there, but this doesn't really need to, but I might throw it in there anywho's, because it's going to strip the paint off of here. If it strips the paint off of here, I want it to strip the paint off of here too, so they look the same. And then at that rate, I may as well probably do this. I don't know. We will see. We'll figure it out. Alright, I will bring you guys back when I have something else to show. By that point, I'm not sure where we'll be, but yeah, I'll bring you back later. Hey everybody, it is now late the next evening. Let's open this can of Bolens Chem Dip carb cleaner and see what we got. Oh boy. I can tell the pressure in here has risen when I, because of the temperature difference between last night when I sealed this up and tonight. It is quite a bit warmer. I can tell that there's pressure in here because it is, well, when I picked it up, put it on the bench, you know, it got the lid and everything inside wet and had some bubbling out at me through the seal when I just started to open it. You're not supposed to touch this stuff with your bare hands, just so you know. Pull it out, and I'm actually going to set it on there. I try to catch as much of it as I can when I pull stuff out and drain it off. And then it's I guess you can't see, it's sitting on the bottom side or the inside of the lid, so some of it's going to kind of drain off onto there. And then I will, whatever drains off onto there, I'll dump it back in here. I try to save every drop of this stuff I can. Not going to wait real long though. Alright, that's most of what's going to come off in any short amount of time. One thing I noticed that's different from when I normally use this is that usually anything that's painted that goes in there, by the time I pull it out, the paint has stripped off, and this still has its paint. I don't know if it's better quality paint or if it's just this stuff's losing its strength maybe. I have no idea. I really ought to get some nitrile gloves though to keep out here for me to use when I'm using stuff like this. Take a look here inside the bowl. It's definitely looking better, but man, should I let it soak longer yet? Normally I never let anything soak more than 24 hours. I've never needed to. I'm just kind of scrubbing here and there to see what it looks like. Okay, this paint is actually kind of coming off. Well, it is right there anyway. I'm going to bring you guys back in just a little bit. Alright, sometime later, a few hours later, I'm back. So, normally, any carburetor I've ever put in here, this stuff will strip the paint right off it, take it down to clean metal and make it look like it was freshly cast. Whether I want the paint gone or not, it usually takes all the paint. This time it didn't, but it softened it, and in handling it, it damaged the paint. Well, I didn't like the look of that, just leaving it like that, so it was like, well, I either want all the paint or none of it. So, that's what I did. I stripped it down, but, man, I had a heck of a time doing it. I don't know what kind of paint this stuff was, but it was not fun. I tried carb cleaner, which will usually take it off, and it was softening it, and you could scrub it off with like a fine steel bristled brush, but that was painstakingly slow. So then I was taking a lot of carb cleaner because you had to spray a small area, let it soften, and scrub, spray that area again, scrub, do that a few times to get each little area clean and move on to the next area. So I have some aerosol aircraft remover, which if you don't know what that is, Google it, but it's a paint stripper, and it's strong stuff. And that didn't even touch it. I tried it, used the same method I've used many times, didn't even touch it. Some of you might say, use oven cleaner. I have used it before. It does work just the same as, it's about almost exactly the same as using aircraft remover, but aircraft remover is many times stronger. Aircraft remover does a better job. So I didn't even bother trying oven cleaner, because if aircraft remover wouldn't do it, oven cleaner won't do it. So I went back to the only method that was working, carb cleaner. And it was painstakingly slow, and my hands are very dry. They are. There is no oils in the skin of my hands. Wow. But here we are. Clean metal. I am going to soak them again for maybe an hour in the Berryman Chem Dip. So I have some parts in there right now. Let's get them out. Some of the smaller parts. Float. This plug, which I may or may not reuse and save the other one. If I feel like I can reuse that one, I'll do it. The fuel nipple elbow. The various hardware, nuts, bolts, whatever. And then like the high and low speed needles, the high and low speed adjustment, fuel mixture adjustment, and then the jet / emulsion tube. The carburetor kit I have does come with the needles, the adjustment needles, and the emulsion tube, but I noticed the emulsion tube is a little bit different. It's not the same. The holes are different. So I'm probably just gonna stick with this one. That's the plan. Yep. I don't want to put a different one in it. It might be an upgrade, I don't know. It's got twice the holes, but they are a lot smaller, and I mean a lot smaller. So I just don't know. If they were only a little bit smaller, I would say, well, they did that for atomization. They put more holes, but smaller ones for better atomization of the fuel. So more fuel efficient. But because they're so much smaller, I don't really know. So I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to stick with what was on there and what I know was... Jeez! What I know is going to work just fine. Ugh, I don't want splashed in the face with that stuff. But anywho's, I'm going to put this float back in upside down this time. So it gets the other side of it. I'm just going to go ahead and clean up these little parts here. And I'll bring you guys back in a bit. Alright, I'm actually going to cut the video here. This video ended up being too long. Longer than what I was willing to do in one video. So I'm actually splitting this video into 2 videos. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. Let me know. Drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button if you like the kind of content that you see here. And make sure you look for the second part of this video to see the rest of this carburetor rebuild, and I will see you in the next one. Later.